Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide Jason. Blood-sucking monsters are a common trope in mythology. Everything from plants, birds, and of course, the classic vampire. But what if we look to a different version, the Adze? The Adze come from the Uu people of Ghana, Benin, and Togo of Africa, and it is often called a variation of a vampire with its own twists. Rather than turn into a bat, this one takes the form of a firefly, though a few mix in a mosquito. They glow a blue or green color, and they are not fully nocturnal. They will sneak into houses through cracks in the windows and doors, and other small openings. Once inside, it will land on people and suck their blood. Now, it isn't always blood which is drunk, but sometimes more of a spiritual aspect which is drained. Those whose blood it drinks will become pale and sickly. Often the Adze's symptoms are comparable to malaria. Its most common victims are children and those who are already frail. Yet, it has been caught, and when it is, the Adze will take its human form. It is said that this human form is a spiritual concept, and it will change its appearance according to the person before it. Now here is where it gets interesting. The Adze in its human form can possess another human, and they become a witch. Through the possessed victim, those around them will suffer. Now, there are reasons which people will become accused of being possessed by the Adze. It is the usual things, which will get a person accused of witchcraft. The young and healthy start dying, while the old watch. A woman with more successful siblings, and so on. Generally, it is tied to the ideas of envy and jealousy. It seems to be targeted more towards those that the host felt jealousy towards. This creature is a warning against such crude and wicked thoughts. Most stories say that it has no specific weaknesses or counter magic, but one book does mention a couple of possible ones. You can trap it in a gourd, and this one I do like, since all stories speak of it being trapped and captured. Mind you, most tales say this is done by a wise village elder, a shaman, or sorcerer. So either by cunning or magic, there has to be a way to trap it, so that is a possibility. And this leads me to believe that there are more means of protection and spells that work against it. Another option which is very rarely mentioned is that they have an aversion to the color blue. Mind you, this was only a single account of that, so don't place much stock in it. Most likely there are more, yet none of which are solid leads. As is common in African mythology, the Adze is based on the concept of duality, the physical and the spiritual. And this is how this creature exists. That is what is behind its spiritual human and physical insect forms. And that is how it possesses its victims. Conceptually, it sounds like the insect form burrows into its host to gain control of it, if it wasn't a spirit. I'm sure you've seen that before. Maybe that could be a guide to get it out of the host. To make that work, it will need some method to override the host's control, or at least influence it. Potentially, negative emotions are easier for it to manipulate. Or maybe we have a spirit which possesses the Firefly. That may also be what is going on. So there isn't a whole lot on this creature. Sadly, there are many mythical creatures where little is known about them. This is a small creature though. Most African fireflies are about 3 to 30 millimeters in length. And at that size, I can see how it could easily get into a house. It wouldn't require much room. It shouldn't be much of a surprise that such a creature would exist. People are always trying to explain things, and a deadly disease which has plagued humanity since the dawn of time, I could see the justification for that. We also shouldn't be surprised by its similarities to other vampires. A bloodsucker which takes the form of an animal and sneaks into the house to feed on sleeping people. Oh, and it also has the power of possession or mind control, something we see in many variations of vampires as well. So, how do we battle this creature? We have two forms to deal with, a firefly and a human. Let's start with the firefly form. We need to stop it from entering your house. Watch for the signs of it. Someone who's growing pale and sickly. If you do, I would recommend using healing magic to restore their fortitude and prevent them from growing weaker. Be ready. It is small, and that is going to make it difficult. You could try going through the whole house and sealing every single crack. But then we have windows, and then getting in under the doors. Even in our world, try as we might, insects still get into houses. So a better option is to go smaller. Place a mosquito net around your bed and check it for any cracks. That will limit its ability to attack you. After that, you just need to be vigilant in the day. One account mentions warding it off using the color blue. You are free to attempt this one. So, live in a blue house with a blue window, that might just work. You could also attempt to make pot traps to try and capture it, but that won't be easy. Now, it was said to have been captured, so there has to be some method to do so. A spell or potion might work, and you'll need to talk to the village elders to maybe find a method. Since this is a spirit, maybe holy magic might be powerful, and is worth the debate. While all the records say that there aren't any protective wards, it is worth trying at least. If you do encounter it in its insect form, you'll need speed to strike it. I'm not sure if any physical harm can damage the insect body, so this sort of battle might be difficult. You'll want a fast weapon. A bare hand might work, but a fly swatter might be better. Wow, that isn't something I thought I would ever say. I don't think a bow and arrow will be of any use. A blow dart would be better though. Of course, you need to be good with it. Now we got its human form. The first issue is avoiding possession. If that happens, we can put it down as a loss. Unless someone else can come and perform an exorcism, and nothing in the writings say that it is possible. You should also look into anti-possession magic. The human body is said to be spiritual, which means physical attacks probably won't work here. But if you know how to operate on the astral plane, that should tilt the situation. Now, that is a battlefield which is poorly understood, and this will likely put the Adze on the home field advantage. One danger you'll face is finding a possessed individual. Look for someone who is jealous and driven by envy. Watch if anyone around them begins to suffer. You'll need to pay attention and be ready for this thing. Now, there is one idea of mine which I want to offer. Mind you, this is pure speculation. But if this was a real animal, its method of possession will likely be having its insect form bury itself into its host to take over. A concept which has been done a few dozen times in fantasy and science fiction to be sure. If this is the case, you need to find the Firefly form and remove it. And of course, that would be in your brain. Good luck. Perhaps flooding the host with a poison could cause it to reject them. Like I said, this is speculation, and based on if it was a real animal, how it would operate. I would always bring a jug or something to trap it in when approaching it. We know it is possible from the stories, but the how is unclear. So if a Firefly, you could use wind spells to try and blow it into the jug, or just have incredible speed and dexterity. If in human form, that will make it more difficult. If you do trap it, I'd look at permanently destroying it. There isn't any real armor that seems to be useful here, nor any weapon in particular that would give you the edge. Sadly, there is a lot about it which isn't known in the tales. This is a bit of a different kind of bloodsucker to be sure. It doesn't have the common weaknesses to sunlight and garlic. Sure, it is mostly nocturnal, but it can operate in the day. Preparations for keeping it away and trapping it will be your main focus. If you do find it, be quick. Any additional magical powers it has is unclear, and what spells would work on it are questionable. Due to all of this, I'm going to give the Adze a 6 of 10 for difficulty. Cunning and observation are the most important things you can focus on here. If you defeat the Adze, you don't get much. Or to be more accurate, there isn't much that I would take. Its physical body is a Firefly, so not much to be sure. And I don't think eating it would be very smart. As for the spiritual remains, those are even less. But what about working with it? An alliance? Well, I got a bit of a question. Are you stupid? This is a creature fueled by envy. Do you know what envy usually creates? Traitors. Yeah, I see it having a high chance of betraying you. Maybe if you're already evil, would you consider it? Not as a real ally, but maybe an associate? The best reward you'll get will come from either a bounty or praise from the villagers for saving them from this plight. I hope that is enough for you. The Adze is a wicked bloodsucker to be sure. It is difficult to keep it out of your house to be sure, and that will be work. And even when confronted, don't expect an easy battle, and even less in rewards sadly. Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time. Until then, I'll see you on the roads.